Okay, so I am already at it to modify this Metal Slug SV001 tank here, and there's a couple of things I spotted just looking at reference material, and mind that there are so many different variations, and I think reference material where not everything is 100% exactly the same in terms of coloring and some of the details, but most of it is that I think it's okay to take some liberty to kind of put together what I think might be the best looking version of it. Not necessarily the most accurate, but it should be by making it the best looking. First thing is, what did I do? I thought about this. Notice that the lights on the top of the turret should be. A lot of times I see them as yellow, so I picked up a clear yellow piece. I'm gonna replace that with. I think that'll look pretty good. And also wanted to break up the very gray and black look of this. It was pretty. There wasn't a whole lot there. There's some dark blue grays, but they're not that well seen. And so I just wanted to enhance this a bit. Um, let's see. And then the other thing was like on the side of these rear cannons, there's this color, like this yellow. I've seen it in yellow, and also I've seen it in almost like a more muted yellow, almost a tan. So I'm thinking that I want to make this. I didn't want it to be that strong of a yellow in the back. I think this would look pretty good as to kind of cover that and make it look close to that. I've seen some versions where it looks like this too, so I'm gonna go with that. These details here were black before, these studs on both sides. I found some that are dark blue gray, which I think help, but I picked up, I've seen them this also in yellow as well as, again, something similar in this tan color. I'm not sure. I don't think I'm going to do it yellow, most likely. I mean, this is not bad, but I think I may potentially use a version of this, or maybe there's one that's like a dark sand color or dark tan that might be kind of closer to this tone. That might look pretty good in there. We'll see. I got a mix of parts in different colors just to play around with to see what will work. So these are gonna happen today. And what I've been messing around with was also I noticed that the detail work in the suspension within here was kind of lacking a bit. Like I already made some fixes back here, but if you can see, hopefully it's bright enough. This is how it originally was designed, with like this. I guess that's a faucet piece. That's what I would call it in the back there. Let's see that. Let me see if I can zoom up. You can see that. Maybe that might. Hopefully you can see it better. It's not really turned up on my end, but I think it shows up better in video, after actual video. But in the back part, there's that, and then there's this, cylinder, brick, whatever you want to call it, that's stuck in there to create something in there, a little bit of greebling, which is fine, I thought. And then, but on the rear, it basically takes just that faucet piece and puts it in the back and just kind of aims it at an angle. Otherwise, it looks, they're both black, and when I look at it from afar, like, it looks like there's not enough in there between that and the wheels. Just go with me here. Imagine that was how it is right now. This wasn't how I modified it. And so, and I looked at a lot of reference material, and I try to flash something up right about, up here right now. You can see that they're in between these spots, right between the wheels and this piece of the body, I guess. There's these shocks that come out at an angle, and that's what I'm going to try to recreate. And I kind of did that. Started with the rear, and I basically removed, of course, what was in there, and I added something to push it out, these pieces out a little bit, and I'll show. I'll put the pieces away. Maybe I'll show that later later in this video, or maybe a third video. I think this is going to be part 2. And so anyways, I just angle these pieces up. Sure, the source material doesn't show like these round things, but the main thing for me is to get those kind of piston looking kind of pieces kind of at the angle that could fit up in here. And I think doing that and just also pushing it out a little bit more and not making it black, this adds a bit more substance, as well as I noticed that a lot of times the wheels that the tank tread runs around, these things aren't black either for the most part. They're at least light gray. Maybe I might do them in a dark gray instead. We'll see. I got a couple of color options. I even have it in a silver, I think. So let me turn this around, and there's just enough to fit here. So hopefully you can see what's going on here. This is what it should look like. I didn't have the colors, all the colors on hand right now, but I did the same thing on this side with the tank tread. Hope you can see that. And then I tried, basically I'm doing the same thing here, but I couldn't, the way it's made, I had to do it slightly differently, but the basic look of it comes out to be basically the same, if you can kind of see it. So once the proper color parts come out, I'm going to swap those out, and then you'll make them more visible. So that's coming. And the other thing is these tank treads, most of the time I don't see them as black. They're either some kind of bronzy or earthy kind of color, or maybe even a dark gray or something. And I think that would help just accentuate it and make it look a little bit more meatier, because the black is, you know how it doesn't really reflect and show up as much as something not as dark. And so I want that to like kind of just brighten up and just see the texture of this more. And I think it would just overall kind of make it look better too, being in either a dark gray, or I also have them in some silver. It's one of the two colors, but I gotta wait for those parts because I gotta replace all these other components that are joining everything around it too. But they're incoming, so that'll come hopefully next week. They've already shipped out. I got them from AliExpress, a pack of different. It seemed like the best buy instead of trying to get it off BreakLink, or they could have found something similar from GoBrakes if I bought it off Amazon, but I think it would take even longer to get here, and they cost a little bit more, and you don't get quite as many. So anyways, I think the AliExpress, I mean, this is from AliExpress, it should be fine to work with. But yeah, that's where my mod plans are going right now with this. It's looking pretty good. I think especially, I think this will really help add better detail, like more accurate. You know, there should be at least something like these kind of struts, or you know, shocks, whatever you call it, that like if you saw in the photo that I tried to post of it, it should be in there. And I think lightening up the wheels, at least, even if I didn't change the treads to some other color, that would at least help really, I think, make it pop more and add more contrast and some just added detail, which I think it will just make it look really good. I think that's about it. So you notice I angled these things back now. They were aimed forward, but most reference material I see, this seems to be like the ready position is to kind of have it aimed towards the rear. I guess this kind of makes sense to get some rear coverage, but you know, in the game these things swing back and forwards to cover all the way around, at least 180 degrees from back all the way across to the front. And then this is like a heavy cannon which will launch a more explosive shell out to you know, whatever target might be in the way, to help destroy it maybe a little bit quicker than just using guns. And then these, it shows up like this here on this little miniature, but all the reference materials seem to have something not so brown. It's more like sunken in, like this. But I think that will do. I don't think, I'm trying to think what else could I use. Like, I don't think an R2 head, like a dome piece like that would, I think that looks too big. I think this is kind of okay. I just need to get something to make those three kind of dimples or dots that you can see right there on there. That's on there. I don't know what it is, but I do see it in the artwork. of that I've seen of this tank, and so there's like 3 like dots on there or something, and I don't know. I can try to paint it on there, or I don't want to try to cut out small vinyl stickers. I don't have like a digital, a Cricut or something that will do it by machine to more accurately and consistently make cut out vinyl shapes. So it'll probably be done by hand most likely, but I'll see. And then I have to look at more reference video. There might be one more set of lights that should be back here, like amber. It's like, not that it really needs turn signals, but I think I've seen some images where it seems like it's more than just red. I think there's like at least an amber or yellow or lights underneath this, but I'll see. That's not so important. This, I wish to find those 2 flat plates, those 2x2 round tiles, I guess. I want to try to find something that has like a mesh or basically a vent or grill kind of design on it. And imagining something like that might exist for like the Millennium Falcon. Maybe on potentially something similar might exist on an ATST build, on the back of the head. There's all these greebling, and I think there's something that looks round and it's with some detail like that could work. And but I don't know where I get that part. I'm still researching that. Not so big deal, but I think it would just that little extra detail to make those look like exhaust vents or something. Although these are technically like exhaust tubes or something too, I think. But anyways, there should be something like that. Like you can see back here like this. Doesn't have to be 100% exactly, but something that looks like vents, on a round piece, I think would help. And you see here that I bet you there should be 2 lights because I see 2 things right here. My guess is that I'm gonna look and probably add an amber piece, set of lights behind here. I think that's what should be there, but we'll see that in a moment. Let me pause this and quickly get these pieces on so you can just see that before I end this particular video. Okay, that was easy. Just pop these off to gain a little bit better access to them, and then pull these pieces off, and that's how it looks like. I think, yeah, it should be smaller, like I don't know how I would do that. Maybe if I did like a plate, like, now that I think about it, if I had a piece like this, you see how it's got the little stud there? Potentially, I could add maybe sort of like a small dome piece that goes right over there. I don't think you can get, I guess, a stud like a single stud would be that goes over that would be too small, wouldn't represent it enough. And then I can't think like R2's head is going to be too big and stick out too rounded out. Yeah, I don't think there's much else I can do about that. I think this works close enough to, just kind of general visual look. And I may add some custom stickers or something like to like split this up here. You see how this got a little bit of a line going through it. And there's some other spots like down on the bottom. There should be like these black things. So I might add something on the bottom at some point just for that detail. I think there should be a triangle somewhere in there. And then I don't know if I can add these things in the back, but there should be like a line. You see like running right down right there. See where my nail is? So there should be maybe adding a line, something that just divides, adds that little bit of detail right there as well. Yeah, these are just the little things I'm thinking of that I can do all in time. Not a big rush just to do that just yet, but I think ultimately those few details like that, actually I really should add that triangle. That does seem to be a crucial part of the overall design. I should add that, and just a few of those other little spots I mentioned, and they shouldn't be too difficult to make, and I think that'll work pretty good. So yeah, anyways, this is where I'm at. Coming along pretty good. I think the other parts I have to finish the suspension work hopefully will be here. It's great. The person I get from Rebreakable, he's somewhat local. He's in Sac, and I'm in the Bay Area, so it's at least within the state. And usually he ships almost like the next day. If I put it the day or night before, he'll get that out the next day. And sometimes it comes like within 2 days, or even was it even a day. It's pretty fast. So hopefully today's Thursday. I'm hoping I can get that in by Saturday and just finish off the custom like suspension work and greebling that goes in here, which I really do think is going to add so much to this. Yep. So anyways, pretty cool. I don't know. I love the design of this tank. It's kind of ridiculous. It's super deformed, and there's probably stuff in there that may not make sense in a real combat situation, but this is in a fictional video game world. If you like, basically this plays out. I was thinking about it today. It's like, what's so cool about the classic side-scrolling shooter games. I think of Contra for one. That's like one of the ultimate ones from the 80s. Played that so much, both at the arcades as well as especially on Nintendo when that came out. And it's kind of like that, you got enemies and things that's just going around, go usually from left to right, and there's different levels, and you can aim all different directions, you get power-ups. I don't think you could man any vehicles in Contra as far as I'm concerned, but there's definitely weapons upgrades, and it's basically like that, just in a different style and a couple other differences. But yeah, if you haven't played it, I think it's you can get a copy of this on like your phone. I think most game consoles, if there's like a archived like video game or downloadable games that you can add to your system, I'm sure you can. That's how I have at least one version of Metal Slug on my Xbox. So yeah, I should go play it. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the updates. I think tonight I finally want to get into shift a little bit and maybe hopefully finally open up my Metal Gear Rex and just have a closer look at that and share that with you guys. I'm still have seen some videos, but I'll just give you my take on it if you're interested. All right, thanks for watching. Later.